good.
Should I talk?
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Oh, you think we're live?
We're live, man. Come on.
Todd, does the machine say live?
I actually see it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me intro, and then say what go into this. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to RAWtalk episode number 242.
Again.
That we're calling Sony the king of mirrorless ? Question mark. So we just realized, I guess, we were going on for about 18 minutes doing a live show that wasn't actually streaming.
It was probably the best show we've ever done.
But what I will tell you is about 10 minutes before the show, somebody, me, sat here and said, Steven, today we need to go through a major checklist. And it's not Steven's fault. It was nobody's fault. What happened is on the machine, we got logged out of YouTube somehow, even though it said perfect streaming over there. But Todd decided to just, when he checked, it wasn't going.
I didn't notice until people were saying, like 10 minutes in, people were like, are you guys going to go live or no? And then I was like, well, wait a minute. And I switched over to the screen and nothing. And then I debated for a good few minutes with Dan, like, should we break into this right now or should we let them finish their thought?
The answer would be break in.
Please, so we don't go on for 20 minutes talking.
Well, I wanted you guys to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, great.
Anyway, we got Dan over there at the switcher today.
I don't want to talk about Dan.
Well, we got to let him
Oh, yeah, I
intro
forgot.
himself
We got to
real
show
quick.
Dan. Now, that's Steven.
That's Steven.
Just take your time.
He's just fresh out of jail. There's Dan. All right, get off my screen, Dan. And by my screen, I mean your screen. So today I decided that I wanted to dress up.
Pimp status.
Steve Knobs.
I felt like I'm trying to do my intro and I'm like pointing and I'm like I can barely fit into this thing.
Buff guy in a little coat.
It's
Buff
a new
guy
it's a
in
new
a
suit.
little coat.
It's a great suit. I like it. I love the color. It's purple, right?
It's definitely purple.
This
just
is a
like
purple
your,
suit,
It's
just
like
like
your
my
chair.
chair.
It's just like the chair.
I can't even see you in it.
See that chair? That's in.
No,
yeah, it's
Todd,
just like
we
the chair.
can't see you with that shirt.
What?
Goes
I'm
right
not
through.
even here.
He's all camo.
Why aren't you wearing a shirt?
So anyway, I got to take the jacket off because my arms have just been getting so much bigger.
You're just so jacked.
Lord.
But check out the
So
butt
jacked.
in these pants. Maddie, she doesn't like them. She doesn't like the pants on me.
Got a little trumpet in there.
Trumpet. See, look. Whatever. Anyway, guys, if you're watching live currently, thank you for being here. If you've got any questions, please put capital question, everything in question. Sorry, everything in capital.
Yes.
Yeah, capital letters, Question, and then your question. Todd will be saving those for the flying solo portion. Will be coming at the end of this episode. Also, we will go into real big detail about Sony, the king of mirrorless ? What we mean by that. That's going to be a hooks and daggers type of conversation. That means we're going to hopefully not upset anybody. And by hopefully, we probably will upset somebody.
Oh, definitely.
But actually, if you're watching the replay, you can click on the links down below, which have the times to go to that exact section where we're going to talk about that. But Todd would like to tell you that you're going to miss the most important parts.
Without a doubt.
Then he's going to make.
If you skip to that part, the greatest part is going to happen probably about 5-10 minutes before there.
It's some serious deja vu right now.
Well, I'm just waiting for Todd.
We did all this already. It's so weird.
I don't remember why Todd brought up that Middle East conversation.
Oh,
what was I talking about?
glad we're not going there again.
Oh, no, we were talking about me having to go get Morgan across Broad Street during the Eagles parade.
We'll save
okay.
that.
We'll save that for when we get to that
for
point.
The Eagles.
Obviously, every once in a while, there's the technical difficulties. But right before the show, I did say I had a feeling today, and that's why we wanted to super double check everything.
Glad we did.
I guess we need to check that it's logged in. See, that machine should tell us that it's not live.
I don't get it because it basically said perfect streaming, which means it's streaming live perfectly.
It's streaming, but it's not going anywhere. That's
Yeah.
why Todd has a computer.
The only thing I
over
can think
there.
of is that YouTube just did an update to now implement the live chat for the replay.
I don't think it was that at all.
It's never been logged out before, so I'm not sure.
But they did that last week too, and we were live.
Oh, it
But
just
the
told
chat
me.
didn't
It
actually-
just told me that the live chat's going to be saved.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought
See,
you
this
were
week
told me
it's
that.
actually switched. That's
It
the
just
thing.
told me that.
I
yeah.
thought you were just going to tell us, oh, it's not live again.
I mean, we're not live, but the chats will be saved.
Great. Thanks. Hey,
Perfect.
guys, if you're in the live chat, let us know where you are in the world, because if it's going to be saved, let everybody know where you are in the world. So put that in there. We want to see it. We'll watch it back in the replay. So just know if you say anything stupid in the comments, we now can go back and watch it, unlike every other week. Just don't. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Exactly.
You like that, Steven?
Sure.
No.
I'm not going to say it.
Good.
So this week, we put up the video where I went to the zoo.
Yeah.
I went to the zoo to play with lenses, to get sample images for a review.
I mean, to review them, but that video was not for the review.
Right. So it's basically, I took the Tamron 18 to 400, Tamron 100 to 400, and the Tamron 24 to 72.8.
Yep.
And the whole idea was that I go out on my own, and I'm going to take sample images, using it in a real-world situation,
Of course.
to bring them back so that we can use them for a review.
Yep.
A mini review type of thing, like I used to do at Allen's. I would take the pictures outside and come back in. It was much different.
This is more real world for sure.
Yeah, this is more. I'm actually taking it to
On
the
location.
zoo and getting real usage out of it. And some people thought that we didn't give enough reviewing during it, but be lucky. Just know that I wasn't going to vlog it. And then I decided I might as well take you along for the ride with me for when the review comes out. You can see what goes into it.
And my concern was people would mistake that for a review, which a lot of people did.
But I say it right in the video,
do.
Steven.
You do.
Not a review.
I
Yep.
mean, words. They're just words that you're saying. I mean, the language is really difficult.
So just know that's why we did not put which lens he was shooting with, because it was more just recapping your experience, not to review the lenses. We will do a full review in the near future of those 3 lenses.
Yes, reviews.
Reviews.
Much different than real-world reviews because it's going
like
to
a
be on
mini
our
review.
new set.
Well,
Yeah.
we need to hurry up and get those reviews out before the cops come to get Steven for breaking out.
I did
So-
break out of jail today, if you guys. I like it. But why did you wear a suit today?
I felt like wearing a suit today.
Just randomly. Just
All his jeans were dirty.
in all the years we've done RAWtalk, and you've always worn a nice shoot raw shirt.
First off, my jeans they're always
Crusty.
never
All
washed.
his jeans are always dirty, is what you meant to say.
do you wash them, like,
They're
every 6
always
months?
in a
No,
state of filth.
about every 2 months or so, I'll throw the jeans in the,
So they
in
just
the
smell like
washer.
farts and
No, man, they smell
Faux.
fine. No, the only time, I have to retire them when they get holes in the crotches, like the
Yeah.
last one. And I didn't wear the ones with the holes in the crotches to Vegas because I have a pair that
Thank God.
doesn't have the hole in the crotch.
that's good.
Well, when they start getting holes there, you should just cut them off and make them like
George?
Daisy Dukes.
do you know how
Yeah.
short the Daisy Dukes would be?
I think you should wear Daisy Dukes like that with that badonk.
Oh man, his
It'd be
badonk
like
would
it'd be
definitely
like a
sticking
furry
out.
little gorilla in Daisy Dukes.
Do you want to dig a hole?
I know you got a hairy ass. I'm sure you got a hairy
No,
ass.
man. The only hair
fro
I have
below?
is on my head and just that little patch right
Wait,
there.
It looks like a little spider got squished on your chest. Not by those though. No. Nope.
Anyway, I know people love when I do that, so I'll put my shirt back down.
Moving on.
So I wanted to dress up today and do something different. Plus, I'm going to wear this to the flower show.
tonight.
Yeah, a girlfriend, she's not used to seeing me dressing up.
I don't think anyone is.
Just
Are you gonna wear the I Shoot Raw shirt though?
Because I didn't want to wear something. I thought it looked good.
Ooh, wear my He-Man,
He-Man?
shirt.
I'm not wearing your He-Man shirt.
The
should
He-Man
wear
shirt
it.
would be awesome with that.
Yeah.
I think there's purple in that.
What are you talking about? Where's purple in my suit?
The whole suit's purple, right?
I'm just saying. I think it'll complement the suit better than that.
Not at all. Okay, so the other video we put up was there are questions coming in. Do I need to refresh people?
Yeah, it's pretty much like put your shirt down. So that's where we are now. So
Well, I'm glad we're live. I'm glad we're getting the
hashtag
feedback.
hairy nipples.
Pete is a little mad with
hole in
killing
the
spiders
crotch.
on your chest too.
Hashtag Jared has weird nipples. Just it's all nipple.
Weird
talk.
They
nipples.
run in the family. They're like pepperonis.
Salamis?
Yeah, kosher salami. Whatever. So we posted the video about the Eagles parade.
Yes.
We went out to the Eagles parade.
3
Dan's
weeks
going to
late,
run
but-
that right now. I love this part where the girl turns her head in slow motion.
Right there.
That was the cool.
Stole the shit out of that shot.
I loved that
Nice
shot.
headroom at the
I
end there, by
literally
the way.
just. What'd you say?
nice headroom at the end there.
I went by and just stole that shot because she was staring at me hard. So I was like, all right, let me just walk by and put the camera down, just like I'm literally walking.
But did she have a Free Meek Mill jersey on?
I think she probably did. Yeah. But 120 frames per second, 1080p, the Canon XF400, literally a camcorder, which I'd never thought I'd be saying in 2018 that we used. But it came out great. The slow motion footage looks good. The dual pixel looked great. The 1-inch sensor worked.
Yeah, so
no issues really.
well, other than the touchscreen in the cold,
Oh, so the camera did freeze up like 2 or 3
literally
times.
freeze up.
But it was also
Really?
It was 23 degrees out, and I checked the operating temperature on B&H, and it said it's like 32 degrees. So I think it just literally got too cold and shut down. So the touchscreen just stopped working, and I had to turn the whole thing off, wait a second, turn it back on. That happened a handful of times. Big issue. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Wow. Hey Todd, how many people we got today that we would have had more if we didn't screw up?
I mean, if we were live, it would be nearly 700.
All right. Yeah. Hopefully we didn't lose too many to the waiting the extra 20 minutes. But the whole idea behind going out to the Eagles parade was to first take portraits of Eagle fans and then hold the Zoom H1 up to their mouths to get what the one question I asked was, what do the Eagles mean to you? And I think that was the perfect question to ask.
The thing about this video that's different is that it didn't revolve around you for once. It revolved around the fans, the city, the pride of the city, everything. So I think it was great to get their reaction, their feelings, make it more intimate, more personal. And I think we did a pretty good job with a very rough plan.
Well, my dad, I sent it to my dad.
Yeah.
And he watched it and he loved it. And he called me and he's like, I didn't realize that you guys did this
until
I saw you in it. I was like, this is so well done.
It was great until that moment.
No, he wasn't saying that. He was just saying it was really good.
Yeah, that's
because
cool,
it is really good. And when I watch it, it's like, especially when you win it for the Eagles,
of course,
for a championship, it means something.
World champions.
Yeah, world champions. Because people were leaving comments. What does world champions mean?
It's weird. They just
because it's
that's
the
what
greatest
they say.
country in the world. FYI,
champions.
That's what they do.
Even though it's really just the national champions.
Well, they play in London once a year, and it is the world champions. Because if they wanted to win, they would put a team up, and they'd be considered champions if they won.
Exactly.
Champions of the world.
But they don't. So the Eagles win.
Eagles.
But yeah, some of the comments down there, of course, you get the athlete, the sports ones, like your team sucks.
Yeah.
But then you get the one was like, oh, great, celebrate a city that just destroyed itself. And you sit there and you go, what city destroyed itself? Because all you saw were maybe 4 negative videos that came out of just stupid shit. A guy punching a horse. That's one of the dumbest things you could do. Then another guy getting on his knees, eating horse shit. That was a good one.
I think there was a naked dude somewhere, too.
Then there was the white 21-year-old kid flipping the car with 7 other people. He got caught.
I think everyone got caught, right?
I don't know if they got the other 6. They got him.
Oh, wow.
But it's just like, flip a car.
You're talking about a dozen people out of like a million.
Entire city.
Oh, and then my other favorite was when they got on the awning of the hotel and the awning fell through. Like, just stupidity stuff. Now, that happens everywhere. There's always going to be morons. But there was a lot of positives that came out of it. The city coming together.
Yeah.
There really weren't that many issues.
The parade was great. There was no issues there.
Great.
I didn't see personally any arrests on site, but
the
maybe
funny
there
thing
was
is,
some.
People are climbing on top of the trash trucks, and the police are just walking by. They're just like letting people be like themselves, and I'm sure they had bigger things to worry about.
My fear was that if you fall from that trash truck, you're falling 15 feet to the concrete, to the ground. I mean, you're breaking your head open right there. Yeah.
Woo! Eagles!
I mean, there were some drunk people climbing up to the trash truck's top. It was
Dan was
it was
one
bad.
of them.
Dan was one of them
With his kid on his in his papoose.
Yeah.
drinking milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, milk.
Dan was actually nursing him in that papoose.
Papoose.
But it was a good day. Again, a very rough video idea that came to fruition after Dan put his hands on it, and then we kind of spiced it up at the end.
Yeah,
Dan
was
did a
able
great job.
Dan did a great
able
job.
to take a lot of the footage.
Make something out of nothing. Something
and then
we usually do
Steven
here.
came back later and did a final pass. And I think it captured the city very well, and I hope it gets shared a lot.
I mean, we tried to go a little more cinematic, with the whole adding some black bars, some matte bars, make it anamorphic, put a LUT on it. But
So let Dan cut back to us. We're going to move on. But if you haven't seen it, it is on Facebook and also on YouTube.
Yep.
It's there. Go watch it. Please enjoy it. A lot of work went into it. And just look at it. If you don't care about sports, that's cool. Just look at it for the cinematic value of being able to create a story out of something and think of what you could do going out and creating a story as well.
Yeah.
Blinds.
Or ask yourself, what's your story?
It's been a while, Todd.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I missed that.
It's been a while.
Nope.
Aaron Lewis. Love that man.
All right, blinds. I come in here yesterday. Steven's out to lunch. Dan's somewhere else. And because we're going to be filming the A7 III, part of the review that we needed to film back here. And I walk in and I see this on the screen.
Yes.
This on the wall, sorry. I'm like,
You're welcome.
I'm like, okay, I get it. It looks good. But where did you get the blinds from?
Secret.
And then I had to think. I racked my head. Dan said something, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, you took it from the shipping department, didn't you? Because I had to think, where do we have blinds? That was the only place we have blinds.
So this is the exact thing I wanted to. I wanted to replicate this entire setup for the first A7R III review that we did. Again, the goal is to try and make it look like we're still in the desert area or in Vegas, because a lot of the locations were very desert-like. The dune buggy location, the helicopters, red rocks, all that kind of stuff.
What made that desert-like, Steven? The sand?
The sand. The sand, yes. So anyway, we wanted to mimic like the sunrise coming through blinds and have like that reddish tone. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the checker mark. Dan, can you cut in close to Steven, to his collar? I'm trying to figure out, are those crossed sabers or is that like a faux V-neck?
That's it's like a V-neck, like stitching. That's all.
Looks pimp, right?
He's never seen anything like that because he doesn't wear anything else but that stupid shirt he's got on right now.
Super pimp.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Anyway, we tried to mimic the sunrise going through blinds, and I think we did just that. I mean, it was Dan's idea to grab the blinds. I thought it was great. We needed a gobo, and last time we just put basically cardboard in front of the light, and it didn't look that good. So this time around, we actually stole the blinds from the shipping department. They just slid right off. We thought we were going to break them. We didn't, thank God.
So my question to you is, how orange did it look on the Sony?
So what I don't get is I took the saturation down almost all the way on the Sony. I also did a custom picture profile in general, no sharpening, all that. And it looked pretty flat in camera, looked great. I knew I could add some color to it in post. And I bring it into Premiere, and it's like neon Cheeto orange.
Do you think it has to do with the iMac Pro screen?
I have no idea, but I am going to export a clip and see if it still looks like that
I mean,
on another computer.
so the way that it looks,
it's a little too orangey for
the
my
background
liking.
is super orange. I'm
Neon
white,
orange.
but I'm straight white. I know Todd's gonna say that's questionable.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm not gonna say anything to that.
You're welcome. I
can't
knew you were gonna go
I can't
there.
add anything to that.
I look good. I got a purple shirt on. That looks white balanced perfect.
Of course.
And then the back is straight up tungsten with that orange.
That was the goal, is to light you up perfect and then mimic the way the light's coming through the window. And yeah, it all worked out until I brought it in Premiere. So we'll see. I'm going to adjust the color a little bit. I want to make it that like kind of yellowish golden tone that, again, a sunrise would look like in the morning. So that's the goal, and we'll see if it'll work out for the review. You'll see in the full A7 III review, which should come out in the near future. Let's just say that.
Yeah, once we can open RAW files, because the last thing we want to do is do a review where we can't open the RAW files, because why do a review if you can't open the RAW files and put it out? That's just, it doesn't make any sense.
I get a video-centric review.
If it's about videos, like Max's
like
video.
Max does. Yeah, I get that.
What's his name?
You can,
Max Yuri?
Max Yuriev.
Yuriev?
I get that because you can review 4K video right away, obviously.
That's fine. It's not raw.
But the raw files, we can't touch yet.
We can't touch it.
Hopefully soon.
But hopefully we can open them.
But there's still a couple other things we got to do, some pickup shots, like beauty shots, menu walkthroughs.
You're just trying to steer me away.
Of what?
Nothing.
But there's a lot to do in a review like this. It's a monster review.
That's why they take some time. I did see a comment.
It takes a couple weeks.
Stop posting other videos. Where's the real world review? It's like, we just got back last week.
We just got back. We filmed RAWtalk the next day. Then it was the weekend. And then we had to do a bunch of other stuff.
And then there was a snowstorm.
I took off Monday because I worked all last week in Vegas. So
I mean, look, the real world reviews are not the fastest thing to put out, but they do end up being one of the best things we put out. So it's a trade-off.
I am very proud of the real-world reviews in the end. Yes, it takes some time, but I think they're very thorough, well-edited, and look great. All
right.
the info's there.
So let's get on to, I'm going to skip the plug for now.
Okay.
As a favor to everybody who's waited so long.
So if you could just interrupt me in the middle of photo news, that'd be perfect.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
We'll get to that plug later.
Yep.
So why don't we get to photo news, which is brought to you by... We'll tell you in a minute.
In the middle of my news story. I do want to say that there's not much news at all this week. We actually skipped. Do you want to bring that up?
Well, yeah. We skipped Photo News Fix for
once.
2 reasons. One, they blew their load last week at WPPI and CP Plus in Japan.
Yep.
all the photo news was gone,
All the good
and I don't
stuff.
want to just make a news video just to there were some stories that were questionable that I could have done.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, we had a snowstorm explosion that interfered with it, and it just wasn't going to get done.
What do they call it? A bomb cyclone?
Explosion cyclone. I don't know.
Explosion cyclone.
Stormy Daniels cyclone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, so there's not much news. We got a couple news stories, but we'll get to the big topic after the news stories coming up.
You just wait.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
First up, we got a photographer and a model. They pled guilty this week after conducting a nude photo shoot at a busy strip mall this time last year.
Was
Now,
it that YouTuber?
No.
No.
Triv Live reports that the duo, 64-year-old photographer Michael Warnock and 22-year-old student Chelsea Gura.
Wait, is she crying in this photo?
It looks like it.
Are you crying?
There's no
There's
crying.
no crying in nude photography.
Oh,
I
God.
see what you did there.
So they both pled guilty to misdemeanor disorderly conduct charges after they attempted the shoot in broad daylight
See, these are good photos.
at the Miracle. These are not the photos.
He didn't take these.
No. These are just on her Flickr account. She does a lot of nude photography.
What is her Flickr? What's her name again?
Chelsea Gura. But I think she goes under something else on her Flickr account.
Chelsea
so creeps like you can't look her
Gura
up.
on Flickr.
But they did this in broad daylight at the Miracle Mile Shopping Center in Monroeville,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Anybody know where Monroeville is, Todd?
In
Is that out
April
near
last
Bumblefuck
year.
near you?
No, I thought it was near Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Monrovers.
Exactly.
Hello, this is my boyfriend, Bobby Long. Come on, Zach and Miri make a porno reference for
I haven't
everybody out
seen, what's his name, Jason Long? Or what's the kid's name who plays
there.
Bobby
Josh
Long?
That's
his name?
Long.
Yeah, Justin
Long.
Justin
Yeah,
Long.
I haven't seen him in a movie in a minute. So police quickly showed up to find the model wearing only thigh-high...
It's my dad.
Full of interruptions.
He's got the plug. Hold on.
Phone call.
Hey, we're live on
Literally.
the air. Is it good or bad?
It doesn't really matter. Not that I'm going to make your day by any stretch of the imagination, nor your followers. But Shred 1 is coming here on March 19th. So if you would care to bring up your box.
So
This
important.
episode's brought to you by Shred 1. All right, thanks. I'll call you back.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Mr. Polin.
My dad's all excited that he's moving. He's bought a house and it won't be built for a while, but he started it's a year out, and so he calls me, and you were there in Vegas. Sorry for this interruption. That's not a plug. It's my childhood house. It's the house I grew up in.
tough,
So it's
yeah.
pretty tough.
It is.
But the first question I asked him when he said we're moving, he's moving, I said, does this mean I have to clean my room now?
Oh, man. I can't imagine how bad it is.
It's like a bomb cyclone went off.
Yep, that's like your house right now.
The Hustler magazine that my brother left is still there.
Crunchy Hustler magazine on the ground.
Man, I can't believe they sold those things.
Oh, man.
I got it from Todd.
So he's saying that the shredding place is coming to shred a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, because he's got boxes and boxes
Dude,
of
bring your
I'm
frickin'
going to.
box of papers
I'm going to
over.
take it to the house, and my 40-pound box of it's a think tank box.
Jeez.
That's anyway. I shredded half. Okay, back to this girl.
So
What's
back
her name again?
to this story, Chelsea Gura, this 22-year-old.
her
The police
grandfather.
quickly showed up to find the model, her wearing only thigh-high stockings and high-heeled shoes, while Warnock, the photographer, was still snapping photos.
So he's a guy with a camera.
He's a guy with a camera. So as part of their plea, they're ordered to each pay a fine of $300 and all other charges will be dropped. The idea initially came to fruition after Warnock placed a Craigslist ad
Of course he did.
for a nude photo shoot.
Shocking.
Which he would pay $300 to.
$300.
Did
huh?
he pay her though?
Well, I think if he paid her, she's paying the $300 right back to the law. So the model defended her actions, saying
can't
that
get
the
on.
goal of the photos was simply art. She went on to say, I didn't know it was illegal at the time, and really, in hindsight, all I can say is that my intent or what I was trying to do was not be obscene and shocking to people and offend people, end quote.
She's.
I don't know how they would think that doing a nude photo shoot in
Oh, jeez.
public would be totally okay.
Hello.
And here's a picture of her
Without
in
a
the
permit or
hole at
anything.
the jail. There she is in the
There's
hole.
her in jail, still doing nude portraiture.
Well, these aren't terrible photos.
Oh, are you looking at her Flickr account right now?
Why, yes,
You
Steven.
couldn't wait?
I couldn't wait. I don't know who took these because the lighting is really interestingly not the greatest, but
She's got a lot of stuff that we could not show on her Flickr account.
yeah, like, oh, whoa.
But again, this event happened last year, and they're just pleading guilty today or this week to the crime.
This is definitely, I'm going to show Steven. This is definitely a photo that a guy with a camera would take. So literally, why would you put yourself
All
into
right, we're going to go to the mall and then get nude pictures, and then we're going to get some Orange Julius.
Like,
Are we good with that?
Why would you?
That's exactly how I pictured
You're
that guy
22
talking.
years old, and a 64-year-old guy
Good for
emails
him.
you about doing a nude photo shoot. One,
Not creepy at all.
dangerous.
I'm an artist.
Don't do that.
Artiste, Todd. Artiste.
Don't do that. But go look up her Flickr page. There's some art on there.
There's lots of art.
Art.
Todd's over there looking too.
Yeah. Then we have a photographer captured some insane images of halos around rock pinnacles by simply using a drone. Now, the angelic halos were created by photographer Ruben Wu after he mounted LEDs to his drone to light the landscapes and used a long exposure to capture the light trails. Now, the photos are part of his project entitled Lux Noctis, which Wu describes as a kind of zero-trace version of land art where the environment remains untouched by the artist and at the same time is presented in a
Until
way
his drone crashes.
which is inspired by 19th century sublime romantic painting and science.
How did he
and
get that
fictional
in there?
Imagery.
That's just the drone sitting there.
Or is that the moon?
No, I'm pretty sure that's the moon.
No.
That's the drone?
Well,
Well, what
because
else
look,
would it
there's
be?
light.
Oh,
falling
there's
on-
light coming down
on
from
top
there.
of that.
I see what
yeah.
you're saying.
Because he's lighting the mountain with that.
Yeah, so some of the pictures, he didn't do the halo. He actually just lit it with the drone.
Such
And
a
then the
great
other
idea.
pictures, he actually did a 360 with the drone, which
Yeah.
I don't know how
Like
he got
this.
a perfect drone circle.
Well,
I guess
you-
he actually
you
told
just
the
said
drone.
it.
He did the automatic mode.
Yeah, auto mode.
Yeah.
But
That
my
looks
question is,
awesome.
are these in parks?
Now, see, how does
That
he
is a
do
good
that?
question, actually.
Multiple exposures, or does he have 3 drones?
No, one exposure.
No.
No, that could definitely be multiple.
I don't think you're not flying 3 drones. Steven.
Yeah, I don't think you're flying 3
You're
drones
taking
either.
either one photo, long exposure, and doing it, and then turning the light off and moving it, or it could be 3 exposures, or it could be 2 girls, 1 cup.
No.
Sure.
No.
No, I think they're great photos, though. They're quite amazing. I mean, something straight out of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And this one, he actually caught the SpaceX launch. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, those are the
That's
2
That's-
rockets.
that's the rockets.
That's one rocket.
He
and then
accidentally captured it. He didn't mean to. So that's pretty incredible. This
That's
guy's a great
cool.
photographer. Yeah.
You know
Here you
what?
go. Here's the actual drone going in video mode.
Look at that.
Yeah. So
know-
just long exposure.
You
Painting.
know what this makes? You know what I have to say?
What do you have to say?
Woo!
That's
And
awesome
then
looking.
speaking
I
of
love
out of this
that.
world photography, our buddy Von Wong turned 4,100 pounds of electronic waste into what he does best: epic portraits. Now
Epic.
epic, or like what do you like to say? Tremendous.
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 Yeah, I'm taking it back.
The project was created to help raise awareness of e-waste and how it is the fastest growing municipal waste stream in the world. Dell helped fund the project and supply the waste needed for the shoot, since they run the world's largest global e-waste recycling program, which is called the Closed Loop Recycling Process.
Usually, have you ever watched those shows where they go to India and
No.
they show like where trash goes?
Makes you
And
wonder.
It's just like piles and piles, and then they pull. So the recycling plants, the reason they recycle this stuff is they can pull copper and silver and gold.
Yeah.
They can pull gold out of these
Silver
things.
and gold. Silver and gold.
What is that?
So Von Wong took on
It's
4,100
Christmas.
pounds.
They're Christmas cartoons. You wouldn't know about those.
4,100 pounds of e-waste after discovering that's approximately how much e-waste a typical American uses in their lifetime.
You think You think a
I don't
typical
think
American uses 4,100
I
pounds?
think that's insane.
I used that before noon.
I call shenanigans on 4,100 pounds of e-waste in a lifetime. First off, we haven't had a lifetime of e-waste yet to determine that,
That's very true.
right? Unless you're
Maybe.
talking about an ENIAC.
The project took 10 days to complete, with a total of 50 volunteers helping out, a lot of people, sorting through the recycled computer parts, sorting laptops, circuit boards, and a bunch more. Now, they then went on to build surreal sets with the parts. They made a portal, they made a particle accelerator, and then they made a solar farm. Really, really cool sets. Now, using simple hacks like adding clear, colorful document folders
Where's the mermaid?
as gels on flashes and a leaf blower to add movement made the portraits come to life. They even strapped a flash to one of their drones when they were limited on space to place the speed lights. They did a lot of hacks to get this project done. Now, Wong says it took only 4 hours to clean up 10 days of hard work, but the images will hopefully live on forever and empower every individual to tell their stories to their friends and family to rethink electronic waste, recycle them responsibly so that responsible companies like Dell can revive them as brand new computer parts.
Well, now that I
really
have
cool.
to clean out
Really
my
cool.
room at my house.
There's all your e-waste.
It looks just like this.
Your room is full
this
of
picture here
4,100
with
pounds
Wong,
of
it looks
e-waste.
just
There's
like
at
that. That's
least-
Jared's room.
There's at least 5 towers in the house that aren't used anymore, including my 486 DX66, my very first tower with 380 megabytes hard drive, and I upgraded to 4 megabytes of RAM, or 8, and it had a 2X CD drive.
Yes, that's so fast.
And I spent like $2,500 for it after my bar mitzvah.
Oh, man. Yeah, my parents have an entire section in their basement dedicated to just like e-waste. There's just tons of crap of old computers from
Couldn't
6
they win
kids.
a free picture from
Probably.
Von Wong?
So speaking of that, Von Wong is now giving away postcards from the shoot, along with raffling off 3 huge metal prints to those that donate their electronic waste at rethinkandrecycle.com. But I'm really impressed by this series. I think this is some of his best work.
Cool.
Great message, too. And then our final story, leading up to one of our big topics of today.
And with that being said, no, go ahead. I'll let you finish this. I'll let you finish before I get to the plot.
According to Nikkei Asian Review, Canon is finally ready
Spell that?
to get serious about mirrorless cameras. Now, Canon Marketing Japan president Masahiro Sakata,
That's
pretty
perfect.
good. That was pretty
perfect,
good.
says the camera giant must actively roll out products for a growth market, even if there is some
Hold on.
cannibalism.
Let's look at this ad. From India to the world, Suzuki's leap start at Gujarat.
So the website reports that DSLR sales have dropped 10% in Japan in 2017, while mirrorless sales rose nearly 30%. And Canon currently ranks number 2 in mirrorless camera sales in Japan with their EOS M mirrorless lineup, and they just released that M50.
I'm
While-
waiting for my N50 to show up. I want to take it to Paris with me. If you're in Paris,
perfect.
Leave a chat in the chat room. I'm going to Paris. It's going to be March 29th, and I come home on April 5th.
So you are bringing your D5 too, or no?
I will be taking a camera.
That's tough to bring that
Most
thing
likely
around,
will be
man.
taking. No, I'm going to be in the same place for a week, and I'm probably going to take some primes with me. And I want to sit at a.
You should bring that 24 that we're shooting with right now.
24 and 35.
Yeah.
I want to sit at a Parisian coffee
Cafe.
shop.
Yeah.
Not drink coffee, not smoke cigarettes, just sit
Not do all the
there
cool things.
and stare at people while eating like dessert.
Croissants.
Oh, I thought you were going to eat
Pho.
pho.
Yeah, I'm gonna have pho. I'll find the place and I'll go eat. We're gonna go to the Louvre.
And then you're going
The
to go to that
Louvre.
same place over and over and over.
Oh, man.
She won't let me do that.
Good.
Probably.
Person to have
Actually,
it,
she
man.
probably will. Whatever keeps me less hangry.
So I do want to add that Olympus actually holds that number 1 spot for mirrorless cameras in Japan. And then Canon and Nikon are both rumored to be currently developing full-frame mirrorless cameras. It's not really rumored for Nikon. It's actually fact. It will be coming out soon. Canon hasn't
Nobody
really
knows how soon.
officially announced one just yet, but we will see.
That's your photo news.
That's the photo news. Not
Now,
too many stories this
I don't
week.
want to interrupt you.
Perfect.
Let's get into the Pluggy McPluggerson, which, Dan, make a note. You get people to come right to the plug, then they get the good stuff. That's what happens. You get them right to here.
Aha.
You see what you do right there?
I see what you
Anyway,
did.
the plug is brought to you by My Gear Vault. The best way to input, organize, and protect your gear. And some of the questions that we've gotten about My Gear Vault is that people are like, we didn't know you could get insurance quotes through it. Well, that's one of the major components of it, is that when you open up the app,
the
there's a
best part.
button that says insurance. If you've been looking for insurance, whether you're a pro or somebody who has gear that you want to just get equipment-only coverage, you can do that. You can get equipment-only coverage. You can get a quote within a matter of hours during a weekday, not really on the weekends, but fill out the questionnaire. Even if it asks you what's your business name, you're a sole proprietor, and how many years in business, just say how long you've been shooting if you're just somebody who wants equipment only in insurance, and you can get a quote. What I will tell you is they will call you on the phone. So if you see a weird number, please pick it up. They're going to tell you they're from My Gear Vault. They're going to help you. You can ask any questions you have. Hello?
No, I was just giving supporting sound effects.
Oh.
I got nothing.
Okay, so anyway, just know that if you do request to get you finish your questionnaire, you will get a call. And some people have gotten a call within a matter of hours during the week, and they've even been able to close the insurance just like that on the phone, so that they're now protected.
Very cool.
And people always ask numbers. Numbers are difficult to give you because with 50 states and different places, it varies depending on where you live. But I will say I've seen, for example, somebody had, say, $4,500 worth of gear. Coverage was $341 a year just for all of it, for liability and equipment.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
But that's not a lot of gear. Somebody who had $10,000 of gear, it was $350. It was literally like
that's not
$9
bad.
more.
It's
So
not double like you would think. yeah.
I've spent $1,000 for coverage like that before.
well, you spend for individual coverage. You want to play that game? We got 100 in my gear vault. My gear vault. There's $100,000 in gear now. Because it includes all of this stuff.
Everything. Yeah.
So my premium for the year is $2,100 for $100,000. But also, don't forget the liability.
Yeah.
That includes slander and libel. In case I get sued, I'm covered for
definitely
like
need that.
a couple $1,000,000.
Definitely.
Yep.
Something like that.
Well, we all have to sign an NDA usually, so
Yep.
we're good on that end.
Hush money.
Yeah, I've been given hush money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shh, Todd, don't tell them.
Oh, sorry.
All right, now we get into Gear of the Week.
Gear of the week.
Which
yes.
leads us, Gear of the Week is part of the discussion.
Gears plural.
Do you want to put the Gears of the Week on
Sure.
the table? So the Gears of the Week this week are all of the Sony mirrorless full-frame cameras. Oh, Jesus,
my.
he just broke another
That's
one.
broke.
Again,
Which
once
ones you
again,
drop?
Steven dropping stuff.
I didn't drop anything. Calm down.
What happened?
I just put like this by accident.
Which one was it?
The A7R3.
Oh, good, because I don't care about that one. Anyway, we've got the A7, the A7R3, and the A9.
Yes.
We also asked them to send us Sony. Sent us the 12 to 24, 24 to 70, 70 to 200, and 8514. I asked for a kit. We're going to get to keep it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks before we send it back. Sony's very helpful with that.
They're great.
The reason we have it is that I want to make those videos where we do the head-to-head comparisons.
This versus this versus this.
Right. And for anybody that wants to bitch and say,
The ultimate battle.
people always say, oh, just a guy talking about specs. The truth of the matter is we've got real-world reviews, or will have real-world reviews out.
actually reviewed
of
every one.
each of them.
Yes.
So anyway, I want to shoot a concert with the A9, or actually all of them.
Yeah.
I want to put all of these in a bag and go shoot a legitimate concert. I don't know if it's going to happen before we have to send them back.
You would shoot with the electronic shutter?
No.
I'm just curious.
Oh, no. Well, I will try both. Electronic shutter on the A9, absolutely. The other two,
Because you're
they're
limited
not
to 5
designed
frames
for
per
that.
second with the mechanical on the A9. That's why I asked.
Oh, but mechanical's definitely going to be the silent electronic shutter.
Yeah.
That's this camera. Is this the A9?
That's the A9, yeah.
This should only be shot with that wireless, whatever the hell it's called, electronic shutter.
Yeah.
That's what it's meant.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
what I was
these are all
wondering.
here, which brings up the big discussion: is Sony the mirrorless king?
Question mark?
The answer is
You'll find out soon.
the answer
Coming
is
up.
Right after these sponsor, word from our sponsor.
the question. The answer is honestly yes. Sony is the mirrorless king. The point of this conversation,
Obviously,
though,
full frame mirrorless. king.
full frame mirrorless, because a lot of people will say, but what about Fuji?
Fuji's great.
What about Olympus? Yeah, that's great. They're not full frame, so I don't really take it as serious as the others because I wouldn't personally use the crop sensor camera for the professional.
Keep in
use.
mind, we don't have the the A7S2 here because it's not been refreshed for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
A7S3 yet. Just want to
So
throw that out there.
What are the questions we wanted to talk about with this, Stephen?
Well, I think we wanted to just discuss if you were starting today with nothing, which brand would you choose?
Yeah, that is the big question.
Huge question.
Because so many people ask us, what should we go with?
Yeah.
And for the past bunch of years, everybody knows I've been hard on mirrorless cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Super harsh. Because they deserved it. They weren't there yet.
I think they're there now, though.
And I think
I do.
agree
I do.
that with Sony's latest lineup, that
And lenses.
it's almost impossible to tell somebody starting out today to buy a 6D Mark II. How do you tell somebody to buy a 6D Mark II?
Especially when you have the A7 III at even, is it the less price?
It's $2,000. I don't remember how
what's
much.
the 6D Mark II again?
I'll look it up while you talk.
Is that like 2,100, 2,200? But the A7 III packs so much more into a camera.
I just pulled up those pictures on Flickr.
That's full frame as well.
Oh man.
Sorry.
So
Yeah, keep going. I'm gonna look it up.
But the A7 III packs a lot more than the 6D Mark II. And the only thing that I would say it's missing is like a very angle articulating screen like the 6D Mark II.
which is great for vlogging.
I do wish that all these Sony cameras have that. I assume that's more of a proprietary Canon thing at this point because these brands like Nikon and Sony tend to go with the tilt screen instead of
$1,900
articulating.
So it's $100
very angle.
less,
$100 less.
which isn't worth it in my opinion. So it just Sony has come to a place. And this is, look, we are not getting paid by Sony. I'm putting
Not
that
at all.
out there. I would love to get paid by Sony to use cameras. Maybe if they backed up a truck of money, like, what would it take, Steven, to switch? $1 million bucks sound
I've been
good?
asking that for years about you.
Well, again, though,
That
are
doesn't
we,
take very much time.
are we talking about just starting out?
Well, I'm going to get to that in a
Or
second.
current
I was
day?
talking about me.
Gotcha.
I like talking about me.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
Shocking.
Fine. Let's talk about just starting out. If you were just starting out, you are a Canon shooter. If you were just starting out right now, what out of Nikon, Canon, and Sony, what
Do
are
I
you
have
buying?
a budget or?
Yes, your budget is you have a 70 to 200, you have a 24 to 70, you have a 16 to 35, you have a what I get you a 51.2.
Oh, on the Canon. So I have all Canon glasses. What you're
Well,
saying?
I'm saying you don't have anything, but your budget is what you would have
Gotcha,
spent to
gotcha.
get your current line.
What I would do,
$5,000 or so.
I would
probably 10 grand.
honestly probably go with either the A7 III or the A7R III. Probably the A7 III, and then get a shit ton of glass because I would save $1,200. I don't need the high megapixel. I'm not a landscape shooter. I don't need the pixel shift. But it still packs a punch with the focus, same as the A9. It packs a punch with the higher ISO capabilities, the 6K downsampled 4K video. That's super sharp. I would be probably picking the A7 III. Got the dual slots,
Yeah.
dual video record.
My concern with Sony at the moment
Yeah.
is daintiness, build quality, which is what daintiness is. But
Yes,
hold on,
I know.
and I haven't shot a concert with it. That is one of the determining factors. I have shot almost everything with it so far. You know, shooting a sporting event with the A9, shooting the models and everything. I think it will handle very well. The one thing I just don't know is will it handle multiple years of, a pro using it?
So I have the Canon 5D Mark IV. I've been a hardcore Canon user for, 12 years now probably. Went through 5 or 6 bodies at this point. And yes, I have a full weather-sealed body in the 5D Mark IV. I've never really had to use it. If it's raining out, I'm not sitting out in the rain.
Sure, unless like landscape photographer, it's
I get
a little
that,
different.
Totally get it. I'm just saying from a personal perspective, I never really needed that, so I don't think these are still weather sealed, weather resistant, I should say, and dust resistant. But I don't really need the full capability of that weather sealing like the DSLRs have.
Let me ask this to you guys watching on the live chat. In the live chat, put right now which if you were starting today fresh, would you go Nikon, would you go Canon, would you go Sony, and why? And anybody watching this, even if you're not watching live, leave a comment down below. This is the big question for everybody.
Fresh, no glass, nothing.
Well, I asked Steven earlier before we started, probably in between the first fake live show and the second live show. I asked, do you really think Sony is the best mirrorless camera? And he said, what'd you say to me?
I said Sony is not the king of mirrorless. Sony is the king right now.
He
That's
thinks
what I
Sony
said.
is the king
Yeah,
now across the board.
And again, I'm a Canon fanboy at heart, man. I really am.
I think I didn't get to the end.
killing it.
I didn't think I got to the end of they're not paying us for this because they're not paying
They're
us
not.
for this. They do pay to fly us out,
Correct.
and put us up and show us a great time when we go do things. But there is no paperwork ever signed that says you must do this or this. There's no paperwork at all. It's here's the cameras, do your thing, eat our food, drink our alcohol, have some fun, meet some hookers in your room. I wasn't supposed to say that part.
Dang it. NDA.
Screwed
Hush
everything up.
money.
What about
Hush money.
the mirrors on the ceiling in the room? so Todd, you doing what you do, you have
Play video
60
games at home?
What was that?
Play video games at home?
Yeah, you play video
Oh.
games. You're starting today. What are you buying?
I'll tell you what, after grilling Steven about the Sony, I'd be hard-pressed to not look at that Sony seriously. I just have to have it in my hands, but that new Sony, I think, will give the 5D a run for its money. I mean, it's a full frame. It's not cropping in 4K.
Yeah, you would appreciate the 6K downscaled and the everything. I mean, just The fact that you're not getting a cropped 4K signal is perfect.
And let me also say that we're not including the Panasonic GH5 in this either. It's not full frame.
Yes.
Though a lot of people love the GH5 for their video because of the 10-bit 422. Perfectly fine, but this is more, let's talk about you're a photographer and possibly doing video. Where you going
and
today?
Keep in mind, you go back 6 months to older RAWtalks, and it's the complete opposite story with us and Sony. I mean, we didn't really love their cameras. We didn't love the lack of dual SD card slots and there's touchscreen functionality and joysticks.
There's still things not to like in these cameras.
Of course, there's always something not to like in a camera.
What pisses me off
camera's perfect.
beyond belief in the A9 is that in order to change from continuous to single, I have to flick this dial up here. With any of the other cameras, I hit something while I'm looking through it, and I can digitally make the change. The A9 doesn't let you do that, which is freaking stupid.
Well, I still wish they had a simple button, one button press, just like Canon does, where I can go from servo or continuous focus to one shot.
I also think dual pixel AF is still better on Canon for
this is
video.
Getting very close, though.
But for stills, when you can do the IAF,
par.
it's great. So I guess it's my turn to answer if I was starting today.
Yeah, what's your decision?
Man, it's so hard to say that I
You're
get
a
an
huge
A9.
Nikon fanboy.
Well, I am. I mean, I'd probably still be living with a D5 for now.
Really?
For now. And the glass. One of the issues I had was that Sony didn't have glass. They still don't have as much. And yes, Sigma just announced 9 art lenses to go on it. I'd still like to see more native, but I can do the 12 to 24, the 24 to 70, 70 to 200. I just don't have a 105, 1.4 native like Nikon has.
Well, you have Sigma now.
You do, but again, I'm still wanting
the brand.
Native. I think a G Master lens would be better than a Sigma lens in some situations. But it's definitely something to consider with somebody coming out with a budget of $3,000 or $4,000. You're like, I don't know how you don't go A7 III all day.
I totally agree.
I don't know how you don't do that for most people shooting, because most people don't need a 300 2.8.
No.
You don't need a 400 2.8, a 600 f4.
You don't need all the specialty lenses.
No, but
at least starting out.
It's going to cost more money though to get the better glass on Sony. There's also not as many glass like that. Todd has raised his hand.
Well, we do have 1,000 viewers, first off.
$1,000?
Nice.
I thought somebody super chatted $1,000.
1,000 viewers. We do have that. But somebody just asked in the chat, and I thought it was a good question.
Yeah.
Compare the A7 III to the Canon M50.
Oh, wait.
Not even a comparison.
Yeah, so
Make the comparison.
It's a totally different price point and everything.
it's not even close. There is no
oranges.
comparison. One is an ADD sensor in a small body with crappy lenses, though you can get an adapter, and the other is a full-fledged 4K shooting monster of a camera. We are kissing the ass of this camera right now because it deserves it.
It does.
And Sony didn't back up that truck of cash yet. We do have a door right here.
I mean, they're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I mean, shit. You want to give us? Look,
send me a camera so I can use it for Morgan.
Well, I'm getting you the M50 for that.
Oh, well, give me both then.
Well, she wouldn't hold this. This still wouldn't be her camera.
It's pretty light though.
The camera is, but the glass that you put on it, they don't. That's going to be the problem. I also want to talk real quick about the Nikon and Canon part of it.
Sure.
Nikon needs a full-frame mirrorless, I think, before Canon. I think Nikon has been striking while the iron is hot. The D850 is a hot camera.
Still, it's
really
a great camera.
good technology.
Great camera, man.
Problem
great
is,
camera.
mirrorless technology, EVF, IAF, all of those things are so nice to have.
I will say Canon at least is starting to get close with the pupil AF, they call it. That is the same exact thing pretty much as IAF.
But that's only on the M50.
I assume that's going to roll out to the next full-frame rumored camera that they're going to put out. Who knows?
But I think Nikon is close. I think they can do it. It's not, again, about the size of the cameras anymore. It's about a lot of the other technologies, getting rid of the mirror box, getting rid of all of those different things, all those components, and starting to give you, like, when I'm out shooting with my DSLR, I'm not thinking, I wish this was mirrorless.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that. There are situations where
well, you wish you had an EVF.
I wish I had an EVF.
Yeah.
I absolutely
Always.
love, and again, Fuji has done a great job with EVFs because they have the hybrid.
Yep.
But
I do love the hybrid. I forgot about that one.
But being able to see my exposure, like the fact is when we're doing a real world review with a Sony and I've got an Atomos on top that's plugged into the video out, I cannot hit the playback button to see my images because we have something in the video out. But I don't feel like I need to chimp because I literally see it in the viewfinder. I see the proper exposure because one of the reasons I chimp is to check exposure real quick.
Yep.
So
with Nikon, though, at least they're giving all their current cameras everything they got, like the D850, for example. The D500, they even threw a ton at that.
Yeah.
The D5, everything, where Canon is still holding everything back and limiting their cameras. They need to push forward.
can I say something, though?
Sure.
Because that brought up the XQD thing. You know how XQD is basically dead?
Sony, yeah.
XQD is dead, and then people were questioning what do you do? Like, you have these cameras and you can't get XQD cards. I was unaware of this until I was educated with the pro-grade cards. They're coming out, they're pushing the next generation
CF
card.
Express.
CF Express. Did you know it's the same form factor as XQD?
It's supposed
and
to be...
did you know it's reverse compatible
Yep,
with a firmware
backward
upgrade?
compatible.
So that answered that for me, which was great.
It's literally dead. It's going to evolve into CF Express.
Which they will update the cards. Todd.
Well, the question I would ask you guys
Yep.
from somebody that knows nothing for the most part.
That's true.
Definitely
What
a
is
true
the big?
statement right
What's
there.
the? Is there anything I'm losing by getting rid of that mirror as far as image quality? Like getting rid of that mechanical thing. Is there anything I'm losing?
Honestly, one of the downsides with the mirrorless
Not
has
really
been
anymore.
autofocus for the most part,
But not
and how
anymore.
that the autofocus capabilities of the DSLRs have been better than just reading off the sensor. But the trade-off is with the A9 and the A7 III is that you have 693. I'm not getting my dyslexic wrong this time.
You're getting it right.
693 focusing points that cover 93, literally go edge to edge in the viewfinder.
Pretty much, yeah.
Whereas on a 6D Mark II, this is it. You cover like 28%, like 30%.
They're
You're not
limited
even-
to the middle of the frame, essentially.
the D5s, they have 151. They cover a lot, but they go all the way out, and they're so good. The IAF, man.
I go from this to my 5D Mark IV, and I feel like I'm so limited on focus points when I go from something like this from 693 to 61.
Todd's laughing at something.
Well, somebody had a question. They want to know what is chimping.
Chimping is this. It's where you shoot, and then this. Shoot, and this. You hit the play button to check your screen. You take a picture, look, take it. That's called chimping.
Chimping is really non-existent in mirrorless cameras
You
because
shouldn't
you're
be.
looking at the real-time exposure with your EVF. I mean, if anything, Todd, you're not really losing anything with getting rid of the mirror. You're gaining a lot.
Well, I want to point out that Viol 987 thinks that Sony has the big advantage because they have Grand Theft Auto 5. So that I agree with.
Definitely agree with that, too.
I agree with that.
I did want to talk about some specs that I
Go for
wish that Canon and Nikon will put forward in their upcoming mirrorless camera.
This is your
full-frame
dream
mirrorless
camera.
My dream camera,
One
essentially.
second before you do that,
Yep.
because that's good stuff. It's a pivotal moment for Nikon and Canon because they have so many users already, and people are looking to jump ship.
Yeah.
Or the major concern for those guys in the industry has to be new photographers. People that are growing into photography are first and foremost looking into Sony.
Yeah.
And I know this because I know people that are buying at, say, Alan's Camera, they are doing a lot more Sony business. Because somebody who's new and starting fresh is like, you know what? That's got the 6K downsampled, 6K readout to 4K for the A7 III. You've got 10 frames a second.
And the
You've
A9.
got it's $2,000. You got all this focusing points. It's almost a no-brainer. I don't know why you'd look at anything else. But what are your wish lists?
So I have a whole laundry list here of features that I wish to have, and some of them are far-fetched. I figured I'd throw them in there anyway. Please stop me if you want to talk about certain specs.
Oh,
I
he
will.
will.
I also
He will.
encourage listeners out there, the live audience, to jump in. And Todd, if you want to stop me at any point to throw in some specs that they're throwing out there.
Yeah,
Copy that.
right now
Yeah.
in the chat, go ahead and put your wishes.
What's your dream camera?
What's your wish list,
mirrorless?
If Canon and Nikon had to make a full-frame mirrorless camera, which, again,
Go
rumored
for
to
it.
be doing it. So full-frame sensor, no AA filter. Pretty standard these days, but Canon still actually puts in an AA filter every single time in all of their cameras. Nikon has no OLPF, though, which is great.
My
Same with
D5
Sony.
does, doesn't it?
Your D5 does, but with the
pretty sure it
D850, it doesn't. Also, a native mount without needing an adapter. That's huge.
Well, I don't know that Nikon or Canon will be able to do that.
The flange distance, that's
right,
what I wonder.
but what Canon has already shown us
It's
with
a native
their
adapter is what you're saying?
Well, they what?
Like a native adapter?
Well, they have a native adapter, but we've done that. You don't lose anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't lose speed. You don't lose capabilities. You don't lose any of those functions. When I use the M5 and put on the adapter and put on the 70 to 200, it's like you're using it right on the camera.
Because to me, I don't really care about the size, that it's small or lightweight. I'm used to holding it.
Does.
I'm used to holding a 5D now all the time. So if it's a little bigger and you have to keep that flange distance, not the end of the world for me, personally. Also, high megapixel count. I think that's pretty standard in most cameras these days. I personally think the 5D's 30 megapixels is a great sweet spot. Not too high, not too low. Now, also, great dynamic range at base ISOs, maybe like a native base ISO of 50 to knock the D850 off its throne of 64. That would be great. Again, kind of far-fetched. Native ISO, high sensitivity. So if we're shooting at, 102,400 native or 204,800, whatever it may be.
12,800.
Also, if they didn't want to go to 30 megapixels or something higher, they can go to, say, 20, but give me like a pixel shift-like technology where I can stitch together pictures in camera to make them greater detail, higher resolution for those landscape photographers or still life photographers. IBIS, like the GH5. Give me more than 5.5 stops of IBIS. Give me 6. Let me walk with the camera and not need a gimbal and make it look smooth and cinematic. Also work in tandem with, the lenses IS, that dual combo IS.
Flip out rotatable screen.
Flip out rotatable screen.
Need
that is
that.
definitely something that I wish Sony did, especially because it only flips down
The
so much.
freaking thing ever.
I mean, it's
is
not really
this.
flipping down.
The fact that you can look.
It's something that we're going to bring
That's
up.
as far as you can flip this freaking screen.
I'd love to know why they don't have the side flippy.
We'll ask them if it's a trademark, a copyright thing, or a patented thing.
Another far-reaching idea: global shutter. I mean, give me a global shutter that's more than a megapixel or something like that. With BSI, a backside illuminated sensor.
Ooh, it just turned on.
That's a serious sensor right there with global shutter and backside illuminated. Let the shutter come down when the camera turns off to protect the sensor so your earbud doesn't drop into it.
And scratch
Something
it.
like that.
Whoops.
Silent mode without needing to use live mode like the D850. I
Oh.
want to be able to shoot silent like the Sony.
Yeah, the D850, nice try giving you some mirrorless shooting capabilities, but no. See, that's another thing, though. It's like they could put in the best of both worlds.
I think they
Nikon.
could.
It's like they just flip the mirror up, lock it, and just make it as good as one of these things.
Well, and then we're going to move on to like a high-res EVF. I wish they would do what Fuji does with that dual hybrid EVF that's both optical and digital. I want a high-res EVF that also has a high refresh rate, blackout-free, just like the A9. High frame rate in general, maybe 10 frames a second. That's a nice sweet spot like this. If they gave me 12 or 14, that's huge. I don't think they would. I want both mechanical and electronic shutter. Fast readout like the A9, so there's no distortion when you're shooting sports or something like that.
Santa, you getting all this?
Edge-to-edge autofocus points. I love the Sony's edge-to-edge 693 points.
Did Sony back a truck of money up to your house to say this?
Even the 399 in the A7R3.
It's fine.
It's
Sell out.
plenty.
Yeah.
It's plenty. Large buffer. Give me 100 RAW files. Don't give me 21 like the 5D or 19 or something
Oh,
like
God,
that.
the 5D doing 21
It's terrible.
is so bad.
Because it uses both SD, UHS 1 slot, and a compact flash. You can't shoot dual redundant pretty much. Like we said, vari-angle touchscreen, touchpad control for autofocus points. Love it in the Sonys. Love it in the M5 and the other EOS M series from Canon, where you could be shooting with the EVF and not using the joystick and use the touchscreen to switch focus points. Your nose gets in the way sometimes, but...
What are you trying to say, Steven?
USB charging. That's kind of standard in most
I don't
cameras
give a
these
shit
days.
about that. The batteries are so good that
For
just
traveling or hiking or something.
I guess. Or just throw another damn battery in your bag.
Time-lapse support. Do 8K in camera.
Yeah.
Don't give me the D850 where I have to do everything in post. Do it in camera.
Well,
Let me
part
really...
of it, they should give you both options.
Give it
Exactly.
the options. Yeah,
Options.
Yes.
Because
4K,
there are,
8K,
I get
everything.
it. People want to shoot 8,000 RAW files in 8K and then go and tweak them all and have all that independent control because that's going to look great.
Yep.
But for us, when we're just quickly making something, yeah.
And then moving on to video specs. This is where I'm looking at you, Canon. We
Best
definitely need more video specs from you guys. High bitrate 4K video, 60p with all-eye compression. Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me like the GH5, 10-bit 422 in camera. Doubt that'll happen, but it's a stretch. Anamorphic option, why not? 6K downsample to 4K, something like that, like Sony, where it's super sharp, zero sharpening needed in post. No pixel binning, that's great. Give me log for video, C-log standard, or what does Nikon call it? Just flat. It calls it flat picture profile. 1080p with 120 frames per second. Give me 240 frames per second. Why not? Going up there. Professional video features like focus peaking and zebra lines.
Yep.
And then a 4K clean out. Don't limit it to 1080 like your 5D and the other cameras. Dual pixel autofocus, not limited to 1080 like they did with the M50.
Yeah.
Give me dual pixel all around.
Which they do have on the 5D Mark IV.
They do. And then just more custom buttons for quick switching. But do it like Sony, where you can literally assign a custom button to any feature.
And Nikon has none.
And
on the
Canon and
Pro
Nikon, well, Nikon has none, but Canon limits you with like 4 features to put on your custom button. Let me
Yeah.
switch anything to that button. And then something to be under $3,000. Make it competitive.
Sure. I just think Nikon needs to come out with...
That was a long list. Sorry.
That's a very long list.
Yeah.
I think Canon needs to hit with a... They're not going to come out with, say, a 1DX Mark II level full frame yet.
I don't think so
come
either.
out with the middle of the road, $2,500-ish, $2,000 to $3,000 body, and make it real. Like, make it a legitimate threat. Like, the M5, it's not a legitimate threat. It's cool. It's just not a body that a pro is going to decide to switch over from.
Exactly. That's the thing. You need to make it so someone that's a Sony user wants to switch back to Canon. Make it that big.
They just need to hit because they need to cut Sony's legs off.
Yeah.
Both Nikon and Canon need to do that before Sony buries them both.
Canon can at least stay afloat right now with all the other money coming in from other areas. Nikon has to do something drastic here.
Yeah, I will talk to my insider and see what kind of information we can get.
I wonder who's going to be first. Who's going to release the first full frame from Nikon or Canon?
I think Nikon's going to do it.
Is it going to be at Photokina? When's it going to be? Is it going to be random?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Can't tell you that because Photokina's in October
Yeah.
or September or whenever that's
It's enough
September.
time if they're developing or have been developing it for a year already.
They know they need it. They all know they need it. And Sony will have 3 new cameras out by then.
Exactly.
Because that's what Sony does.
The thing is, they'll finally get to somewhere where it's a great camera, and then Sony will crush them with the next release 6 months later.
Though they can shut up the industry if Nikon and Canon put out a roadmap and a real camera.
I agree.
And they can show that they're serious and look, they can literally reverse engineer these cameras.
Yeah.
They literally just take the features that Sony has done in the last couple of years, use your technologies inside. Nikon needs to get an autofocus capable camera in terms of video.
Autofocus.
Yeah, they don't have that. So I guess that's Todd. Anybody chiming in over there?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of all over the place. I just think, I feel
gotta
like
be a
with
lot of
Nikon and especially Canon, they just have so many variations. This one will have this, but not that. And this one will have that, but not this. And it's just like there's so many SKUs that it's just like, just
exactly.
make one to roll them all, and I will buy it.
Good point. Good point, because Sony has done that.
Yes.
They've
actually done it with their entry-level camera.
The
for the most
A7
part.
I can't keep track of all the Canon cameras.
Yeah.
Well, the A7 III is their entry-level full frame that has
everything.
A better autofocus system than the A7 R3 because it has the A9's focusing system, a newer sensor, higher ISO capability, 10 frames a second, in-camera stabilization, 4K.
I do want to comment, too, that some people were saying that the A9 didn't have, or the A7 III didn't have the same exact focusing as the A9. Sony specifically told us there at the event that it did have the same exact system as the A9.
Yeah.
It's not just the same focusing points and all that. It's actually the same system. So
that's what I got. Let's put that one to bed.
Yeah.
So that's a big discussion.
Big wish list.
As you can see, we've come around more to Sony. We'll come around even further if they back that money truck up to the
Hell yeah.
Door's
Hell
right
yeah.
there, Sony.
The door is here.
The door's literally behind
let's
Jared.
put some real money
There it
inside
is.
of those cash cannons.
I mean, look, when it comes to video, every time I grill Steven, I'm like, what do you think about the autofocus? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Every camera, he's like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but that part's not cool about every camera so far. This
Except
one,
this
Steven's been like, that Sony's the one. Because we're always comparing it to our Mark IV.
And
we
you
always
guys,
compare it to our Mark IV.
You'll see in the A7 III review, we filmed the entire review with the camera.
Except for the Atomos stuff,
Except
of
for
course.
obviously the Atomos shot, yeah.
But that's you'll see the video. Same with if you go watch the A7R3,
Film the entire thing with it.
all the stuff in Sedona.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would love to go out and just shoot like some cinematic stuff with that camera once you guys are done with it.
Yeah, Todd would like to try and shoot.
I just want to mess around with it.
He'll probably put it on a slider and
Man,
do
I
this.
crush. Wait do you see Morgan's new school morning routine?
No,
video?
thank you.
That's gonna crush.
No, thank you. Don't want to watch Morgan's school morning routine. Does it have Frosted Flakes involved?
Yes.
Is there a cereal
no,
shot?
she has an apple.
Lucky Charms?
She's a fruit kid.
Did she put? Yeah, she is. Did she put a GoPro session on a spoon and make it like she's gonna eat it out of
No,
the...
we put the camera in the refrigerator though when she goes in the refrigerator. That was
Fail. Total
dope.
fail, Todd. You should have made it in the spoon. Way
Yeah.
better.
Well, she doesn't eat
Way
cereal. We don't
Nobody should
cereal.
eat cereal.
We
That
don't
is
eat- we
like
don't
the
eat
worst
cereal
thing you could
around.
ever eat. Do you eat cereal?
I don't.
God damn.
It's delicious,
Dude,
though.
I love
I
when
used
we
to.
were in Vegas that one time for road event and we were at they gave us, remember it was like $30, $34 for the buffet every morning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And luckily they picked that up, but I ordered, like, you can order anything off the menu. Didn't matter what it was at that point because you paid the $34. I'm like, yeah, can I get a bowl of Frosted Flakes with whole milk? Can I get 5 eggs, 4 egg whites with 1 yolk?
Can I
I
gain
get
10 pounds
avocado?
today?
And I was like, oh my God. Man, that whole milk with Frosted Flakes for like a minute if you have like 1 or 2
Dude,
scoops.
whole milk is so good, but so bad.
I don't drink milk, but when I have that, oh my God, every like...
Can I have one Lucky Charm?
Can I have a gallon of whole milk?
Just
That's
one
it.
charm.
All right.
Rainbow specifically.
Now let's move on to flying solo, guys. That was a long segment, but I think it was definitely worthwhile to talk about the current standing in the industry of mirrorless cameras and how Sony, for full frame mirrorless, is eating the lunch of everybody with this lineup. It's the first time that I can say that I think it is an actual viable option for people to go to, even with the lenses that are available on the pro side. Kit side, I don't care about kit lenses personally, so I still don't like the 12 to 24 that much. I don't like the distortion on it compared to the 14 to 24 or the 11 to 24. I will say that.
You're talking about at 12 or just in general the entire range?
I got a lot of flare in that photo at the Hoover Dam that we're going to show in the video. A lot of flare. And even when we're shooting straight into the sun with a 14 to 24 that's 7 years old from Nikon, rarely do I see any kind of flare. And this gave me big flare. Maybe that's a hipster
Think it's
option
more the
or
coating
something.
or
Yeah, maybe they don't have nano coating.
nano coating.
But see, there's still negatives to all of. There's still negatives, guys. It's all a trade-off.
There's no
Yep.
perfect camera out there. Just know that.
not until
Except
they
for
back
Stevens,
up that money.
except for
truck.
the one
mine.
Steven just
Only-
built today.
Only my camera that I just
Only
listed.
that one. It'll cost you $15.99.99.
$15 million.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Flying solo. This is where you guys put your questions in. Todd picks them, not at random, but there's super chats and regular chats. What do we got?
Well, here's a good question from
Better be.
Alexandra Seppi. Question for everyone. If you remember, what was that light bulb moment, photo or video shoot that made you think, yeah, this is great. I'm going to actually try to keep doing this. I'm going to go after this as a viable job.
Well, for me, it was literally the first shoot I was on as a 13-year-old shooting at junior high school with my mom's point-and-shoot Fuji Discovery 1 or 2000, whatever it was, sitting on the basketball court. And when those prints, it was more when the prints came back that I saw that I was able to capture the moment at the right time, even with a point-and-shoot. That was when I was like, yeah, this is for me.
What about you, Steve?
I don't really recall a specific moment. I mean, I worked in a photo lab for about 7-8 years. Never really did photography at that time and always wanted to. And then I started getting into photography when I worked at the radio station and just kind of went from there.
What was the first thing you shot that you were like, okay, I can do this?
Man, probably a Jimmy Eat World concert. That's always the first one I think of back in like
What's
2000.
that song?
The Middle or Sweetness.
The video. The video where it's backwards? Is the whole video backwards?
You're talking about Coldplay.
No, that's Yellow. That's not Coldplay.
Oh,
not that
okay.
one.
I don't know
No,
the other one.
I don't know.
I don't know. But probably when I started shooting concerts. I can't really think of a specific moment, though, personally.
Yeah. It was when I had to recut a video for somebody that I was like, oh, I could actually probably just do this instead of them. And that's what I did.
Nice.
Next question from, let's see. Sebastian Rizuki. Question: at what point do you think a photography business should be an LLC?
Okay, so this is going to be Dave Leno calling.
Dave, do you know about an
How
LLC?
did you know that?
Because I figured I had ESPN right there. I felt like Dave Leno was going to be calling.
You in the feelings today, man.
Oh, it's just
spot on.
I just knew he was due to call me for something.
I have a feeling these batteries might die soon, so just FYI, everybody.
All right, yeah. If the batteries die, what happens?
We'll replace them.
Oh, and the show stays on?
Yeah, the show will stay on. Might just take a minute.
LLC, look, you need some protection for yourself. We talk about this with the My Gear Vault videos we did on Tuesday, is that you are a sole proprietor. If you can have a business under your own name, but if something ever goes wrong, they can sue you personally and take all your personal possessions, come after your house, come after your car, come after all of those things. An LLC forms some protection. So if somebody's coming after you, they're coming after the business, and the worst you can do for the most part is shut it down.
Yeah, but they're not taking your house.
And also, I think even more important than being the LLC, and this is the God's honest truth, having freaking insurance and liability.
Yep.
It's not just, people forget that it's not just covering your equipment. Yes, it's one thing to have all your gear stolen, but it's another thing if somebody slips and falls in your studio or in your house, or you hit them with a monopod, or they trip over something and break the window, or they're moving a light stand and they break a TV. Like,
Whoops.
like Todd.
Whoopsie.
But that's why you have insurance, because it covers that. It covers if you get sued and somebody gets $1 million judgment.
Does it cover hush money?
Let me check line 33. No. So that's my answer, is protection is important, whether it's insurance or a business protection.
Great. And then Chris Dakin had a question. He told his daughter that he let her start a YouTube channel on her 9th birthday.
Oh, wow.
What advice would you get to keep it fun and creative, and what kind of gear would you?
all you,
I'm
Todd.
giving that to Todd,
Yeah.
because you have a 12-year-old that started a YouTube channel.
Well, I would say
Successful.
definitely something that has great autofocus, like a Canon, and something small that's not too heavy for their hands, because you got to keep in mind, if they're not going to do it on their phone, which I think that's the easiest place to start, do it on their phone. But if you're going to invest in something small, mirrorless maybe, something they can flip the screen out, see themselves, and it just focuses and it just works. And then maybe a little Rode microphone that you can stick on top there, and because that's what I'm setting Morgan up with, because I can't be shooting her all the time.
Yeah, but how much does it help that you're an editor?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she asked me the other day how much money she made. I said I'll let you know after you pay me back. I mean, at the end of the day, they need to learn to shoot coverage, I guess. But you know. But a lot of those kids, if you watch them, they don't care. They just want to hear other kids talk at length. So it's not necessarily all about the editing, but...
But do you think if Morgan's channel was her holding her cell phone going, hey, guys, this is my morning routine,
no,
that it would resonate as well?
Well,
I mean,
I think that...
look, she's got it all comes down to personality.
Of course.
I mean, it depends if people like you or if they don't like you. Right, Jared? So I would say, I mean, personality... It doesn't matter what camera you have. So if you've got the personality, that might work. Now, if you can give her a leg up by having a clean-looking image, clean audio, then she's going to leapfrog people. And, I mean, Morgan has a video now that just crossed 100,000 views.
Wow.
So
Good for her.
Yeah, my night routine.
Dude,
Jared watched it 20,000 times, but, I mean...
I will say, the thumbnails certainly help, and the titles...
For the tween
which,
market.
Todd, you do most of that, or does she help you out
I do
with
all that.
what
I
do
mean,
you think
she
of-
yells at me for what font she wants. I mean, trust me, she's the hardest boss I've ever worked for.
What's the big font with the kids these days? Is that like Luna or whatever?
I can't remember. Beau Nouveau or something like
Bebe
that.
Noué
Yeah, I
or
don't
whatever?
know, yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing for recommendation, you have a 9-year-old. You got to be freaking careful that they don't think they're going to grow up to be the next biggest YouTuber.
Yeah.
Because... Like
9's young.
You could be getting 12 views, and she'd be starting to get upset that she's not getting more views, and then reading comments. You better be watching those comments yourself, and replying like somebody I know.
Well,
and you got to have fun. Don't try to replicate what somebody else is doing. Do your own thing, and people. And all I'll say is ride the waves of what's hot right now. When slime was hot, people did slime videos, and you see if you can catch that wave.
And you know what? She'll probably know the best video to make. You might think you know, but she'll be like, no, I want to do this. And you're like, oh, okay, that actually just got 50,000 views.
Yeah,
but
except
what
for-
you said, have fun with it. Make sure they're not stressed out about it. Make sure they're
Don't
having
make it a
fun.
job. Yeah.
And download the Creator app so that you can get alerts like when people make comments on her video, you can be the first one to see it and see if you need to like
especially if she's
delete
at school.
it. And then I actually went onto her channel. I put in like words that can't be posted on her channel and all that
I didn't know
stuff.
you could do that.
Oh, I could think of a few.
I did all that. There were tons of words I was like, nope, this ain't going down. This ain't going down. So it's definitely a little more responsibility for the parent.
Got it. Next. Good stuff.
So Desmond Meyer has a question. He has around $7,000, he has around $7,000. I'm interested in landscape, wildlife, and some studio.
Wait, hold on, Todd. Did he use any of that money for a super chat?
No, but he's not invested in any camera right now.
And what's he want to shoot?
Landscape, wildlife, and some studio. And which system should he invest in? And he's from South Africa.
Oh, jeez.
Well, Sony doesn't have the long glass right now.
They have a 100 to 400 is the biggest.
But if you're shooting wildlife, you might want to go even more than that.
Yeah, well, but then I guess if Sigma decides to come out with a 150 to 600
native, but they said they're staying with the art lenses, the
for
prime
now,
art lenses right now.
But I mean, you can see them coming out with sport, but they don't have it right now. Like that's tough.
It is tough.
You say landscape, and you say the other thing.
It's kind of a jack of all trades.
You could go Sony. I think a Nikon. I think it's hard to say D750 right now when you've got an A7 III.
Oh, totally agree on that.
But and it's also hard to say D850 at 40 whatever megapixels for nature.
And then it's hard to say D500 because you got the crop sensor, which is great for wildlife, but not great for studio.
Well, I don't think it would be. Look, I shot with a D2H in the studio, and the D2X was a crop sensor camera. I mean, I think a D500 could be a good recommendation with glass, or an A7 III, and then get a 100 to 400. But it depends on what you're looking for long term.
What's the 100 to 400? Is that a 4 straight through, or
no?
Is that like a 4 to 5, 6 or something?
I have to look it up.
I'm not familiar.
Maybe somebody in the room they gave it to us to use, and I didn't use it.
We didn't use it. Yeah.
I didn't use it. I'm on the B&H.
But that's a variable aperture lens, is what I'm asking.
So
yeah.
what would you recommend to this guy with $7,000? Go Sony?
It's
Again, that's
hard.
tough. That's really tough.
It's a 4.5 to 5.6. Like it's super. Oh, how much is it?
I would personally say Nikon or Sony for that. Nikon
It's
for the long glass.
$2,500 for that.
For the 100 400.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's got $7,000. That's a big budget.
Well, if I was buying and he wants to do landscape, see, you've got your 24 to 70 or 70 to 200 would be my first two lenses for everything. Then the body, you're close to your budget there. Probably a couple, maybe $2,000 off. You need some kind of prime lens possibly for what he's doing. Look, it's funny because we're not sitting here say go Canon. So I think it's a flip between like
I'd say Nikon or
a
Sony.
D500 if he wants to go with a crop sensor and get more bang for your buck in terms of DX, even though we understand it's a smaller sensor.
Because then you have D850 with the 64 low native ISO.
That's
and 7
perfect for
frames a
landscape.
second. High frame rate for wildlife.
I think a D850 is going to be a beautiful, especially if he's doing studio.
It's a great all-around camera.
I'm going to go with D850 and something like Nikon 200 to 400 or Sigma 150 to 600 or Tamron 150 to 600. I'll go with that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to blow through some super chats here. We've got quite a few.
And then we'll wrap it up.
And then we're going to wrap it up here. J La ZZ 44/7 Fro. Met your high school friend John G at a film festival in New York. He saw my I Shoot Raw tee and approached me.
Who?
John G, your high school friend John G.
I had no friends in high school, so...
Exactly, so that's a
was a
lie. But anyways, he just wanted to say thanks for helping me network, by the way.
John who?
John G, just the initial G.
Yeah, I know John G.
So that's
Sounds
that.
like a fake name.
Eddie Gonzalez.
How much did they give us, though?
$5.
Yes.
Eddie Gonzalez threw us $20 and wanted to say thank you to you guys for the advice 2 weeks ago. I ended up upgrading lenses instead of bodies and wanted to make sure to send you guys a good thank you. Please make sure to get lunch on me. By the way, we miss RAWtalk.
Yeah.
I'm going away soon.
Well,
Don't
Jared's
worry.
going away very
soon,
so
Steven and I might sit down
Come
there and
back.
do a little real
Todd,
talk.
has Sony super chatted $1 million yet?
I'm still waiting on that. Still waiting.
Don't
Standing
steal
by.
it.
Zach Kurtz threw us $20. He just wanted
Zach
to
Ertz.
Zach Kurtz.
Oh.
He just wanted to say that his feelings on the Sony A7 III. It's basically about its capabilities and all-around performance are a blend between the A7S II and the A7R III. So I'm not exactly know if I'm following that exactly.
We do.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Convention shenanigans, $10. Question for Todd and Steven. I see more noise in my videos using a 7D Mark II than I care for. Does the in-camera noise reduction help with this, or will I need to find a plugin in Premiere to help that? Well, try not boosting your ISO to high heaven and get more light on your subject.
So, yeah, for me, I personally boost the shit out of it when I'm doing stills. Video, I always keep it clean, if not at like 400, 200, 100 ISO.
Yeah, keep your ISO low.
Yeah, I don't give a
Keep
shit.
it as
I'll
low
shoot
as
a high
possible.
ISO. I don't care.
Todd, do you use any denoise plugins? I know there is like denoiser or whatever.
No.
I don't believe in
I
any-
generally
I
try
don't
not to
shoot
go over.
highs.
I don't try to go over like 1600 ISO in video.
Yeah, I
really don't.
Very low. And the 70 Mark II with the crop sensor is not going to be great.
No,
That can be
that
your
camera's
solution.
one of the worst.
Get yourself some lights or
Yeah.
something like that.
I get these I get these comments all the time about, I've got the D850 and the ISO, I see so much noise, or I got a D610 and the noise is bad. It's usually human error.
Again, I don't mind noise in still pictures, but I do mind noise in video.
Okay. Got it. Next.
I'm sorry. TDTHRE3. I don't know what that is. No, he threw us $15. Thanks for the highest quality live video audio on YouTube.
As long as it's live.
Tips on shooting an event with 5D Mark IV, doing video and photos at the same time. That's a Steven question all day.
Wait, doing videos and photos?
And photos at the same time.
Meaning switching back and forth.
Oh, I was going to say literal same time?
No.
Well, so what I do is I actually put my user 1 and 2, C1 and C2 dials. I set one to video and one to still photo.
That's a good
and
one.
literally can just switch between the two, hit the record button, and you're kind of set. As long as you preset it. If you're in a weird lighting situation where it's constantly changing, that's tough. But if it's static, hard lighting, you should be good to go. That's what I
really
did with
good.
the A7 III when we shot with that. I had slow motion on memory dial 1, and I had regular 24p 4K in mode 2.
Can
So
you
real
set
quick,
up? Can you set
done.
my 5D Mark IV like that?
Yeah.
Because I would like that.
He can just send you his save load settings, and then
I think people
would like
don't
his load.
understand how much the 1 and 2, C1 and 2 buttons come in handy.
do you know who does?
Me.
Ken Rockwell, because he loves those buttons.
Does
I
he?
don't blame him, because
Yeah.
Nikons usually don't have them.
Yeah, I love them.
Glitch Life threw us a couple of bucks, and he just wanted to know, Jared, what lenses you used at the Super Bowl parade.
I used one. I used a 105 1.4. I took the 14 to 24, and I took the 35 1.4 and stuck with the 105 1.4. I made the decision that I'm just
Headshots.
specifically taking one style of shot. That's what I'm going for.
Gotcha. Frank McCrite threw us $20, and he said,
tooth?
Todd, been meaning to give you props on calling out big YouTubers for not using 4K and doing jump cuts as the new hotness on YouTube. There are more uses for 4K than 4K content. Well, you're welcome.
I get it. When you say jumping out on people for shooting 4K, you're really meaning don't need to deliver in
You don't
4K,
need to
but give
deliver in
yourself
4K.
multiple angles.
But it's a useful tool to shoot in 4K and edit in 1080. You just get more options out of it that way.
Yep.
It's great.
Or just use your iPhone.
Next one, Gregory Flat. He threw us a couple bucks. And he had a question. I'm currently shooting with a 6D Mark II with a Series 1 Canon 70-200.
Uh-huh.
Would there be a huge advantage of upgrading to the most recent 70-200?
No. It's one step up. 70-201 and 70-202. They have a third one coming.
I mean, it's rumored to be coming. It's about time to replace it.
It is super sharp, but right now,
So
no.
I actually still own the Mark 1, the version 1 of that lens, and it's great. But I also don't own the version 2, so I can't compare it.
the version 2 is so tack sharp.
Well, so for example, like your VR2 to the third version of the Nikon lens, crazy difference in sharpness. So
The original, look,
it is worth upgrading.
the Canons, to me, have always been better than the Nikons in the 70-200s.
Okay.
They've just felt better.
I definitely, when the 3 comes out, I will be upgrading to that for sure.
Nice.
And next, Logan Johnson threw us $4.99, and he just wanted to state that Dan is a spy for Nikon.
Got it.
And finally, Tony Timp, he just sent us $10, and he just
Tony
wanted to
Timp.
sing Fro Guy and a Little Coat.
That was me. Thank you.
Fro Guy and a Little Goat, and he said, have a great show, guys.
Thank you, guys.
I just realized your scarf's still on.
My scarf's still on. We really appreciate you sticking around for the little global, little glitchy thing, because we thought we were live for 18 minutes, but we really weren't.
It was the best show ever.
We really need some kind of like digital.
I mean, we were naked when we really
I know.
realized.
We had a
like,
whole party.
Everything, I mean,
Did I show my nipples in this one or in the first one?
Ah, you forgot to.
I'm pretty
this
sure
one.
it was
the first one.
I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, it was in this version.
So we appreciate that. We think we have one of the better live shows out there in terms of quality, and we strive to do this every week. So please tune in every Friday at whatever time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we like to go live. We love interacting with you guys. We appreciate you joining us. I want to say don't forget to check out the Daily Fro. You can go to fronosphoto.com/podcast. You could also check out RAWtalk as the audio only, but check out the Daily Fro. I've done 43 of them now, and I've been pushing that because it's a daily listen somewhere between 8 and 18 minutes, and it's good. Todd, you got anything to add?
Nope. You can follow me at I am Todd Wolf on social media, and you can also follow Adultland Movie for updates on that project.
Nice plug.
Thanks
Steven?
for watching. Thanks for the patience, guys.
Steven?
Thank you guys for letting me go through my wish list of a camera. Hopefully that actually comes to life one day. We'll see. Probably not. But you can follow me at S_Eckert on Instagram, Twitter, all social medias.
Dan?
You don't have a microphone, so shut up.
There he is.
And so...
Oh, we got two there.
I
Dan.
screwed that. You blew that.
Good
You
job.
blew it.
And now back to me to finish up this show, please.
Long show.
There we go.
It's like the old days.
So, well, it's not that. It's 20 minutes over when we started. It's 26 minutes over.
I forgot.
that.
'cause
We didn't start
we did
at
2
3.
shows. That's
we did
why.
18 minutes of a first one.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. That's RAWtalk episode 242. We appreciate your time for being here, and we thank you very much. And that's it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. Todd forgot to play the music where he was supposed to play it right here.
Oh, it's playing, bro.
Oh, it's playing.
Oh, he is? Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
see.
Last week's RAWtalk. You can check right there. Don't forget, for another Fronos photo video, do this. To subscribe, you could click over here.
Click here.
To check out the table of contents, which you probably aren't looking at now because it's the end of the show. Watch it at the beginning of the
Yeah.
show. And join us live every week at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays for RAWtalks. In 5, in 4, in 3, we're out. Goodbye.